Right, it looks like we're live now, which is good. Good news. Right, we're back. We're back live. Okay, so apologies for that. I think my internet is so bad at the minute that it is struggling to connect up to certain things. But we are 6 minutes into qualifying. Dace has provisional pole with a 1:10.428. Lasser is only just behind with a 1:10.493. Impossible Bacon in P7 on the medium tyre. We've got Callie Robb on the medium tyres as well. You may have missed what I mentioned at the beginning, which is this is a three-way title fight. A three-way title fight between this man, who is just coming out of the pit lane now to attempt another lap. I think his first one got invalidated, as I did see him leave the pit lane earlier on. So Cool Beans is in second position of the championship with 141 points. The driver just ahead of him is the driver in P5 in the Ferrari. That is Callie Robb. He is on 142 points. And the Dutchman on home soil hoping to clinch the title, who is 7 points behind Callie Robb on 135, is that of Honesy. So at the minute, Kelly and Honesy have set medium lap tyre times, which means they're just getting some banker laps in, trying to get their feel of the track in. And Callie Robb at the minute has chosen to put a set of soft tyres and go out. And chosen to go out on a set of soft tyres. Let me just mute my watch, or is it going to be pinging the whole time around? So we will ride on board with Cool Beans on his attempt of a hot lap and see how far up the grid he can get. It's going to be an interesting race. As I say, it's a very tight and twisty track. I will talk you through the track as Cool Beans comes around the banked final corner. Two different lines to take. You can either go high or low. I believe low is the better way to take that. So turn one, long right-hander. Stay tight to the inside curb, and then use the exit curb on the outside as much as you can. Avoid these curbs here, the two, and then this one here as well, because it's another banked corner. Those curbs will throw you off. Delta Lima on the left-hand side of Cool Beans stays out of his way. Cool Beans comes up into the second sector now. And he is coming around there nicely. Bit of gravel on the exit of that curve. It is pretty much flat out, but you've got to nail your setup to be able to get that right. Comes around into the left-hander. Another corner where it's a long. Got to wait for that front end to bite in. Now we come into the chicane, into the final sector. Again, stay off these curbs. They will bounce you around and throw you about. It's easy to get a lot of understeer through that left-hander and drift off into that outside wall. Now the banked corner, he's going to get a bit of a slipstream, I believe, from the car ahead. That is an Alfa Romeo, maybe not quite. No, I think he's a bit too far ahead to get that time. But Cool Beans comes around the final corner, crosses the finish line, and goes into only a P8 at the minute. So he is 8 tenths off the provisional pole position time that is set by Dace. He is still there. The gap to leader is, 8.5 tenths. So Dace is just starting a flying lap. So it's right on board with Dace in his Alfa Romeo. He goes a purple first sector, which means he is up on his previous time. So he will be improving on this lap. Let's see what his middle sector's like. ERT Henry's off the racing line there on an in lap. Or is it an out lap? It's an out lap. So Dace comes round this left-handed corner. Very short track. I would say only a 1 minute 10 lap. It's very short, very quick. It's also very easy to mess yourself up. He goes purple second sector, so he's gone faster in the second sector. He is just under a tenth up on his best time. So this is going to put him into the 1:10.3s if he can keep this momentum going up for the final corner. Pretty neat and tidy through there. He is absolutely on the edge of traction, on the edge of grip, but he's keeping it there. Stays quite right. Drifts back over to the middle. He goes into the 1 minute 2s. He found another tenth and a bit in the final sector. So he's in the 1:10.217, so 2.75. Sorry, 0.275 ahead of Lasser, who was on an out lap. So there's a few Dutchies in the top three at the minute. We've got Lasser. I say that. Callie Robb has just gone second faster, so he's crossed the line. And he is 1:10.268. So he is half a tenth slower than Dace. So we've got American at the top. American in P2. Then we've got Dutch in Lasser as he starts his flying lap. We're right on board with Lasser. Cornet is on a flying lap. He's just come around the final corner. He's right on board with Cornet. Massive snap of oversteer around the final corner. Keeps it nailed. and he is coming across the finish line. I think it's going to be slower. He found 700ths of a second. Not enough to move him up any higher, but he still currently puts in P4. Look at Delta Lima in P6 of the McLaren. He is driving his absolute butt off this weekend to avoid the wooden spoon which will be given to him if, I think actually, because Mark of Kenya isn't here, he's been struggling with his internet connection. He could Henry actually goes faster there. Henry puts himself in P1. Delta, look at that, in P7. That's a great time from him, a 1:10.891. So a few comments coming in. The stream is working. Thank you, Bacon, for saying that. It's a bit of an issue with the internet, but it seems to be working fine. Toss the Caber on the medium tyre, goes into P7 with a 1:10.7. So that's a pretty decent time from him, actually. Lasser went faster, went a tenth and a bit faster, but it's not enough to shift him up, but he does solidify his P4 place. Coolbeans is on an outlap, so we'll watch out for him to see if he can go any faster. We've got B16 on an outlap. Red Dog is just coming into the pits, and Coke Can, that's all I got to say about that, is just starting his flying lap. So let's ride on board with him. So he's KPF Panda in the Discord, and Brexit Beast, a reserve driver we had previously, who's not in the league anymore. He's got 50 quid on a Coke Can DNF. So we'll see what Coke Can where will he DNF? What will he do? I reckon around the final corner he'll lose it under traction. But that's just you predicting a DNF. I'll predict where it's going to happen, but we never know. Hopefully it doesn't happen. He's at the back of the grid at the minute with a 1:13.1, so I'm assuming that was a mistake on his lap, and he's got some more time to find. Drifts very wide and doesn't validate his time just there, so that is unfortunate. But he has got time to come back into the pits, put a new fresh set of soft tyres on and go again. It's the most important thing. Right, where is Cool Beans? Where is the Beans of the Cool? He is just starting a flying lap. Kelly Robb and Holmesy. Holmesy's on a flying lap actually. Let's jump on board with Holmesy as he comes around into the final sector, ending sector 2, into sector 3. What's his sector time? Is he going to go any faster? Cool Beans has got to watch out for him. He is 6/10ths up, but he was on the soft tyre earlier compared to this one. So at the minute it looks like, I think he's going to go into provisional pole position. I think he might go into a pole position with this time if he can keep up this. Apparently he was sandbagging in the practice session we held. Someone was watching him, and he goes into the 1:09s. He finds 7.5 tenths. So he is currently a 10.5, no, 2 tenths quicker than Henry. Henry's got to find some more time. So the championship contender, he has got to find 7 points to finish ahead of Cali Robb. So if he wins the race, he gets 25 points. If Cali Robb comes second, he gets 18 points, which will be the 7 points gap difference. So if one of them gets fastest lap, then they will win the championship. However, if someone else gets the fastest lap, it will go on countback of results. Now let me have a quick look at the countback of results. Holmesy has won 1, 2, 3 races, and Cali Robb has only won 2. So Holmesy, in that instance, Holmesy would win the championship on countback. So all Holmesy has to do is win the race today, and he will be named champion. My quick maths and all that jazz isn't going to quite work out like that, I don't think. I think it's going to... Cool Beans can finish also somewhere. So what's Cool Beans, his time? Has he improved? I think he has improved, but not by nearly enough. I think he's racing back to the pits to see if he can fit another set of tyres on. But Cool Beans is struggling in qualifying. He normally is... I'll put my hands up and say he's not the quickest qualifier, but he's got insane race pace and insane consistency. That is where he gets it. I think the stream's gone again, is it? We still got stream. Still got stream. We've still got it. So Cool Beans comes back in the pits. We've lost Toss the Caber. He has either crashed out or retired. I am not sure, but we'll keep an eye on the stream to make sure it keeps running. We've lost B16. He has retired, but I think that's a pit lane retirement, I believe. Cool Beans is just waiting for Henry to come out the pits. He does. This is going to cost Cool Beans time. He's still got 2.5 minutes, and you need about a minute 10, minute 15 for an outlap. So if he can get out the pits in about 30 to 45 seconds, he should be fine. But they are taking their time, the Mercedes crew, to get him in and out. Now, Cali Robb is on a flying lap. What's Cali Robb doing at the minute? He is coming around into the second sector, into the very tricky, flat-out right-handers. Very evil on the front right tyre there. So Toss has confirmed that he's a pit lane retirement. He wants to qualify on the mediums, or start on the mediums at least. So Cali Robb is a tenth, nearly 2 tenths up. This is going to push him not quite into the realms of pole, but it will possibly push him onto the first row, maybe the second row. Jack Davis has put £100 on a Mr. Woot shock victory. At this moment in time, a Mr. Woot shock victory is not out of the question. Cali Robb goes into P2 just outside of the 1 minute 9, so it's a 1:10.097. A shock victory for Mr. Woot is not on the cards because he's not a shock victory. He is a race winner in SFR and NRL recently. He's on fantastic form, so if he does win the race, it's not going to be a shock. It's a foregone conclusion. It's a foregone conclusion that Mr. Woot will win. At the minute, he is down in P13, so not great for him. So Cool Beans has got fresh softs on. He's on an outlap, and he will have time to get back around. So Cali Robb currently in P2. Honesy is also on an outlap. Where's Honesy compared to Mr. Cool Beans? Cool Beans is just coming into the middle of the second sector. Honesy is just going to exit the second sector. He's got Bacon just ahead of him. We are riding on board with these drivers, but Lasser, let's ride on board with Lasser. He's a 10.5 up on his best time. This is going to push him possibly up into the second row above Dace. So he's got to find more time in this last sector to get that nailed on. Dace is also, but Dace is in the pits. I don't think Dace is going back out again. Lasser goes across the line, finds some time, but it's not enough. He's 200 slower than Dace. He is currently on the third row of the grid alongside Cornet, who looks like he's retiring. So both Alpines at the minute in P6 and P7 respectively. Bacon is going across the line. That was a bad lap from him, made a mistake possibly, so he's going to try again. He saved up some ERS, so he should have enough time. Delta is 3 to 4 tenths down on his best time, I believe, at the minute. We'll see what it comes across when he crosses the line crosses the sector line. Yeah, he's 6 tenths down, so he's not improving. Now, Cool Beans is just starting his lap, so let's jump to Honesy. Honesy is down on his time, and Cali Robb is also out as well, so let's ride on board with Honesy through this tricky right, like triple, quadruple right-hander corners. Very fast, very tricky. Lasser's on the right-hand side there. Stays out of the way, so Honesy comes down to the end of the first sector. Let's see what this sector time is. He was down earlier. Is he down again? He is down, but he has found a bit of time. He's found 400s in the second sector, but he just touches that curve, and it does seem to unsettle the car a little bit. I'm not sure if that's going to cause him any issues. I'm not sure if that's going to cost him any time. Cali Robb, where is he? He's coming around the final corner as well. Honesy pits, Honesy boxes, Honesy abandons his lap. I think Cali Robb is abandoning his lap as well. What's Cool Beans got? Cool Beans is half a tenth up, coming round the final corner, but I don't think it's going to be enough unless he lost some time in the final sector. Cool Beans stays out. He is going to find some time. Where's this going to push him up to? It pushes him up to P10. He found a tenth and a bit, but he's only in P10, and he's got to start on these tyres, unless Mr. Woot with the foregone conclusions. No, he appears to have abandoned. So we have Honesy, the only driver into the 1 minute 9s with a 1:09.947 on pole position, looking to win the race to claim the championship. Cali Robb, championship leader with 142 points in P2, and the number 3 in the championship, the third place, is Cool Beans in P10, so that's not a great qualifying position for him. Toss the Caber is going to be starting on the medium, so his strategy worked out well. Delta in P12 is a good qualifying session from him. Exotic in the middle of the field with the first driver to be able to select his tyres. Mark of Kenya has now joined us. We have 18 drivers. Kokan is in P17, Red Dog in P16. Let's have a quick look at the standings of the constructors, because the constructors is close. Now, we haven't got Righty Boy racing today, and we have both Ferraris. So Mercedes are leading the championship with 187 points. They have Cool Beans and Righty Boy in their cars. So it's only Cool Beans who can earn them points this evening. Ferrari have Exotic and Cali Robb to try and earn them some points. Aston Martin are down there in 142, so Honesy's not going to be winning the constructors this season, but he can get his own bit of of silverware if he does manage to win the title. So Kokan has just messaged on the thing. KF Panda. It's rigged. It's been manipulated, man. Kokan is the best there is. He's the GOAT, apparently. He's just having a bad day. We all have bad days, mate. We all have bad days. It happens. But got to get out of it. As Rocky would say, it's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you get hit and you can get back up and keep on fighting. That's what you got to do. Take a bit of Rocky Balboa inspiration for you. One of my favourite films, actually, while we wait for the lobby to load up. To talk about favourite films. I saw The Batman the other night. It was a pretty good film, to be fair. I don't think it's up there with the Christopher Nolan trilogy, personally, yet. I know there is more to come from Matt Reeves and Robert Pattinson. But, you know, you never know. It was a brilliant film, don't get me wrong. I really enjoyed it. All 3 hours of it. On the edge of your seat the whole time. Why am I talking about films? Who knows? Because I talked about Rocky Balboa, wasn't it? Yeah, so it's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and get back up again. So take a leaf out of Rocky's book, The Italian Stallion. So as we just wait for all the drivers to set their strategies, their tyres, let's have a quick rundown of what they're all wearing. Who are we wearing today? So Exotic is choosing to wear the Pirelli soft tyres. So is Delta Lima. B16, Mr. Woot are all opting to go for Pirelli's slightly harder tyre in the medium. Yerdy on the soft. Didn't see much of Yerdy in the qualifying, actually. Snuck into 15th spot there. Red Dog going medium. Kokan on the softs, and Mark of Kenya on the softs as well. Another driver's just selected mediums. That is Yerdy. He's gone medium. Toss the Cable obviously qualified on the medium. I see a lot of comments coming through. Jacob Wright, Kokan once started 50 seconds behind everyone else and still won. Is he like a Chuck Norris, is he? He once started at a different track and still won as well. There we go. He once started racing in Spa and still made it to the Zaandvort finish line before anyone else. Rumour has it that Kokan is actually the reincarnation of Senna. Now that's quite a comment there. Senna being one of my heroes. So I'll be following Kokan and his eSports career with a great intensity. Because if that is true, I'll take your word for it, Brexit. I'll take your word for it. If he is, then I shall be following his career with great respect and intensity, because I want to see him. I want to see him win. But in the Haas at the minute, he is in P17, qualified last. He's only not last because Mark of Kenya joined late. So we are getting ready to load up. So let's have another quick look at the tyre selection of the drivers. Now these two do change last minute. Some drivers believe they're being sneaky and put extra tyres on. Let's see what we got. What do we got? And Mark of Kenya, I think, did that at the last minute. He stuck the medium tyres on. So we are off on the formation lap. If you go 1 stop soft to hard or 2 stops soft medium, looking about lap 10 and about lap 21 for pit stops. Let's get all the analysis up, shall we? As we follow the broadcast camera, as we follow Honesy in the Aston Martin. Personally, this season we are going to be sending out a championship trophy. I would rather post it to Corbyn's in Britain, as I am British, just because to save on me postage costs, than post it to either the Netherlands or to New York City, where Callie Robb is from. So I'm hoping to get it manipulated. Do the Lewis Hamilton. It's been manipulated, man. We will get a 1 lap on board for Kokan. I did try earlier on his qualifying run, but he failed miserably. So it was quickly abandoned. Lap 11 to 13 if you're going soft to hard on the 1 stop. as Honesy is coming up towards the banking section. They've got drivers, you see them weaving. For those of you who haven't watched Formula 1, I'm sure you all have. You're not going to be watching an eSports Formula 1 race if you haven't seen any Formula 1 in your whole entire life. Who's this? That's Henry getting very feisty, going through the ghosted cars of Honesy and Cali Rob. He will still take up his P3. It isn't the first driver to get around the formation lap and start on pole. It is just the way the game happens. If you are too much on your throttle when the game takes over, then you will just ghost through the cars that are there. So the cars are joining, as you can see them. The Alpine there slooping to the right. Mercedes of Coolbeans just ahead of the McLaren of Delta Lima. And here comes Mark of Kenya, always the bridesmaid, never the bride when it comes to qualifying. Always seems to start at the back of the grid. And let us now hopefully get a good camera angle here, because at the minute it's a horrible camera angle. Here we go. It's not better, is it really? But let's go. We've got 5 lights. When they go out, we go racing. They go out, so let's go racing. Honesy appeared to get away well. It's a horrible camera angle, but here we go. Cali Rob got away cleanly as well, but Honesy takes the lead of the race. Henry's trying to go around the outside. You've got the Alfa Romeo of Dace on the inside. It looks all pretty clean, apart from a Haas and a Alfa at the back. Is that Yerdy and Mark of Kenya? I saw some carbon fibre, and we've got Kokan. He is out. Kokan is out at turn number 2. I'm not sure what happened to him there, but we've got a safety car after 2 corners. So that what happened with the drivers moving up places. Mark of Kenya gained 2, Red Dog gained 2, Yerdy lost 2, but I think he was involved in the incident with Mark of Kenya at the back of the grid. And other than that, a couple of drivers switched 1 positions here and there. So Toss gained 1, Will lost 1, Exotic gained 1, Coolbeans has lost a lap. So unfortunately for Brexit, we didn't get a 1 lap on board of Kokan, because he didn't even make it around 1 lap. He didn't even make it around 2 corners. Absolute shocker. Absolute shocker. KF Panda rigged, I'm telling you. Obviously I'm not sure what happened. Stick it in the SFR clip sharing, or if you want to report a driver, go into Stewards Reports and we can all have a look at your incident and maybe even laugh at it at a later date. So Honesy leads us around. Any driver's going to come into the pits to put the hard tyres on early? I doubt. Oh, I say I doubt it. There's 2 drivers coming in. And, oh, a Red Bull looked like he was going to go in, but he didn't. But we have got Henry into the pits. Now, what tyre is Henry going to put on? Medium tyres for Henry. He's going early with the medium. How long is he going to be able to make this tyre last? We also have, let's have a look at tyres before I get all of it confused. Exotic's going hard. Coolbeans has put on a fresh set of mediums, so he's looking to go deeper into the race. Kenya has got on a set of hard tyres. So Coolbeans on the fresh mediums, just behind Henry, his teammates for today on the fresh medium. Now, is Henry going to let Coolbeans go early? I know they're not teammates on the game, but they are teammates today in this race. Henry, is he going to want Coolbeans to win the championship? Who knows? If he doesn't let him past, we know that Henry hates Coolbeans and he hates British people. So 3 drivers put on the hard tyres. Delta, Exotic and Mark of Kenya all went hard. 2 drivers put on fresh mediums. That was Coolbeans and Henry. Mr. Woot put on fresh softs, and Yerdy put on new front wing and a fresh set of medium tyres. So this will bunch the field back up again. We shouldn't have the safety car for too long. Once all the drivers catch back up and get to the back of the grid, we shall go racing again. It probably won't be the end of this lap. We've already gone past the safety car line, so it'll be the end of next lap. We will go racing. I'm going to put my £100 on that. So Mr. Woot is saying he got completely yeeted from behind, but when Mr. Woot has a bad start, he normally has a good... Oh! Commentators curse. Commentators curse. You didn't get yeeted that time, did you, Mr. Woot? You yeeted yourself. That was pretty funny. Yerdy probably makes the easiest overtake of his... It's probably the easiest overtake of Yerdy's career. It's the best overtake of my career, as Sergio or Checo Perez would say. So Mr. Woot is currently going to try and cool his tyres back down. Jack Davis, his hero, out there. You know, our heroes do let us down sometimes. You know, Will Smith was a hero of mine, and he let me down in last weekend. Bless him. So yeah, you just got to, you know, it's a life lesson you learn. Sometimes the people you look up to the most will let you down. Mr. Woot has let you down today, massively. Right. What are we looking at here? Holmesy, where's Holmesy's car? There it is. He's behind. Is it the Aston Martin? It is the Aston Martin. It's rigged, man. It's manipulated. They've got the Aston Martin. It's going to lead us round for 36 laps, I reckon. That's just so Holmesy can win the title. As I say that, the safety car is in this lap, so Holmesy will become the safety car. He will become the Aston Martin safety car whilst the safety car comes back in. Now, what's Holmesy going to do? How early is he going to go? Obviously, the banking will give some drivers a bit of a bonus slipstream, so he can. If he goes early, he's got to catch them all unawares. If he goes late, then he's got to hope to God that Cali Rob doesn't second guess him. Now, Holmesy, it looks like he is going to hold off and not go too early. He is still wiggling, still weaving. He's probably going to wait till he goes now, just before that DRS activation line. We're not going to have DRS for 2 laps, but he does get away cleanly. Who is happening? What's happening here? The Alpine trying to go around the outside. So that's Cornet trying to go around the outside of Lasser. That looks like it's a pretty good move. He's going to get the inside line for the next corner. That's right on board with Cornet as they go through these 2 corners. It's wheel to wheel. Lasser and Cornet. They are still there. Cornet gets very close to the back of Dace, but just pushes Lasser out there. Wheel to wheel. A bit of wall banging going on there, but that's still pretty neat and tidy from them both. Still side by side through the tight section here. Let's jump back on board as that camera angle was terrible. Lasser's going up the inside of Cornet. He pushes him out. Cornet stays on the gravel when he's out. Cornet is out of the race. He's flipped himself, and this is probably going to be another safety car. I hope it's not. It doesn't look like it is. I think we're all fine and dandy here. Bacon has got a penalty. What's his penalty? What's his penalty? It's 5 seconds. Who knows what that is for? But Holmesy got away well. Dace got away well. Lasser and Will is up to P5, so he's had a great restart. B16 and into P7. Teammate of Lasser in the Williams. Corbins is up into P10, obviously with Cornet. As Cornet is now out of the race. Holmesy sets the fastest lap of the race. So at the minute, Holmesy wins the Drivers' World Championship by winning the race and getting the fastest lap point. Cali Rob has got to fight back. Cali Rob has got to do something. Let's hope we don't get any kind of last-minute safety car shenanigans. Gaps are all pretty spaced out. They're all about 3-4 tenths apart from Henry, who is on the back of B16. That's right on board with him through this section. He is on the medium tyre compared to B16's medium tyre as well, but it is 2 laps fresher. So thank you, Jack, for confirming that he got a speeding penalty. Bacon for speeding in the pit lane obviously came in the pits. I was too busy watching Lasser and Cornet go wheel to wheel through many, many corners. I think personally that could be a racing incident. It's very fast to the fast piece of the track. They were, you know, wheel to wheel for so long. As Henry is got the overspeed on B16, and we should see Henry's car go up the inside. B16 gives him the space, gives him the apex of the next corner, and Henry is driving off now to try and catch up to Tos the Caber, who is just ahead of him. Only half a second behind Willans. Now these 2 drivers have a bit of beef with each other. Singapore springs to mind a couple of seasons ago. We got a yellow flag in Sector 3. Who's this yellow flag in Sector 3? It's another Haas. It's Mark of Kenya. Mark of Kenya is out of the race. He's crashed at the banking. And Mark of Kenya is out of this race. Let's go on board with Impossible Bacon. He can serve his 5-second penalty. Where is Mark of Kenya's car? It's there. It's damaged. Bacon is going to serve his penalty, and he's probably going to put on a set of hard tyres. So 2 safety cars in the space of 5 laps, and only racing laps is about 2 at the minute, so he's serving his 5 seconds. He's going to put on fresh medium tyres that you can see in the background there. He comes out of the pits. He will be able to catch back up to the pack, so he's had a bit of a poor start so far, but he will be able to catch back up. B16 pitted as well. He put fresh softs on. He's going to overtake the safety car now while it is waiting for the leader in Holmesy to come back around. Are we going to see any of the soft runners at the front pit for new tyres? got to watch out for what Cool Beans is going to do as well. He's currently in P9. So at this moment in time, it looks and it appears that Haas have come bottom of the constructors. Well, they will be unless McLaren get done for Spygate all over again and have all of their championship points removed. I can make that happen as my last act in SFR. Fortunately, after today's race, I shall be handing over control to Delta and Cornet, as I shall be taking a step away from the league. So this is the last time you will hear my dulcet tones on the airwaves for a little while. Michael Kenyon's now left the session. Drivers who put on hard tyres. Cali Robb went onto a hard tyre. Holmesy went onto a medium tyre, so that is going to give him a pace advantage. Will Ans is now the leader of the race. What's he going to do? Is he going to stay out and try and keep track position? He's going to have to pit shortly, but Toss is in a good spot here. So is Henry, and so is Red Dog. Cool Beans as well. They've all pitted for these tyres. They will last a little while. Yeah, they will last a little while. So I think Toss is in pretty good shape here. We're going to have to come in until about lap 20. Streaming quality looks pretty poor at the minute, so I do apologise for that. If you are getting that, I'm not sure if it's my phone connection or if it's the internet connection I'm currently running the Tinternet on. It is pretty tinny, so I apologise for that. I will try and talk you through as much as I possibly can if you cannot see the timing screens. But yeah, Mr. Woot is in P13 at the minute. I think Jack seems to think they had an incident with Yerdy. I'm not sure, Jack, who's taking over commentary yet. I'm trying to stay out of all that at the minute. I'm going to let Cornet and Delta do all they're taking over. They're taking over the plan and what's going to happen. I had my farewell race last week and I got a point in Australia, so I was happy with that. Didn't get any. Was it Australia? No, it was Canada. See, I can't even remember what I was doing. I haven't enjoyed racing on this game since it came out, so I ended up hence why I'm on the commentary team or comms. But I thought, why not give it one last race? Kachow was doing the comms, so I thought, yeah, let's do it. Let's do it. Got on it, got a point, so I walk away with my head held high from this season. But yeah, I'm not sure who's doing comms yet. It'll all be released, all be revealed in the next couple of weeks when they start the sign-ups for season 6. Let's hope we get as many drivers as we have been having recently. This season has been a little bit lower than it has been usually. We were getting 20 drivers a week every single week for about 3 seasons, but this season I don't know what's happened. It just seems like I wouldn't say the interest has dipped, but I think with obviously the lockdowns and the pandemic coming to an end everywhere, I think other people have just got other priorities rather than sitting in front of a PlayStation for an hour and a half every Sunday evening. So we do get the majority of drivers coming back and racing every Sunday, but some do just dip in and out, and that's fair enough. It's a game at the end of the day. They don't get paid to do it. They just get paid. They get paid in love and kindness, not necessarily from me. Looks very tight down there. Who was that backing everybody up? I think it might have been. I saw an Aston Martin and 2 Mercedes involved, so I'm not sure what was going on. But Willans is going to be the safety car. He's got Toss the Caber just behind him. Let's ride on board with Toss the Caber actually as we go racing again. Let's jump on with Henry at this point in time. No. Oh, he was going to go. Henry didn't lose too much time, thankfully. I think the wheel went very late there into that corner, into the straight. Sorry, and he made sure that no one else got an advantage apart from him. He obviously controls when he goes. As long as he goes for the start-finish line, all is fine and dandy. So Will gets away cleanly. He's got a 7/10 gap. We've got some overtakes happening at the back of the grid between Bacon and B16 Boy. And there's a 10th gap between Yerdy here and Exotic currently in P6. So Cali Robb down in P9. So he needs to climb back up the field. Holmesy's in P8. So we'll watch Holmesy. He's pitted from the lead of the race. Gave up track position to come into the pits to put on the medium tyres. Dace has overtaken Delta. We've got a couple of drivers. Delta looks like he's going to go back up the inside. No, he's not. He's going to sit back and filter back in with Lasser just behind Delta, who's going to look to try and get past him and try and claim as many points as he possibly can. It looks like Lasser's going up the inside of Delta into the chicane. Is he? He's going to... Oh, he gets a bit of understeer and wheel bangs Delta's side pod. Gets a better exit, but Delta had the racing line, so Lasser has to filter back in behind them all. And that is that move done and dusted for the minute. Delta keeps P11. He's going to have to try and fight back. So Holmesy is very close to the back of Yerdy. Is he going to look to make a move into turn one? I'm not sure. I think he's too far back. Holmesy is not the type of driver. Just to make a move, just for argument's sake, he will think about every move he makes, every step he takes. I'll be watching you, Holmesy. Sorry, for those of you young enough, not old enough to know, that was the police, and Sting, that was me. Just I went into a bit of a ramble there in a song lyric. So Holmesy in P8. Thank you, Jack. Good commentator. Always makes the racing that bit better to watch. Of course I do. I try and make it fun for myself. I don't want to. Well, I'd say I do. I do sit here for an hour and a half every Sunday evening to watch racing, but you've got to make it fun. As Holmesy goes around the outside of Yerdy there, gets that move done. That was very neat and tidy. So he's making his way back through the field. He's got Exotic just up ahead. Now he could have a little bit of team orders here. I know it's a Ferrari and I know it's an Aston Martin. They're not in the team, but they started racing together in NRL, which is this league of SFR and the CCR network. They could be working together here. Exotic could let Holmesy go. I'm pretty sure that Cali Rob gets past Yerdy. I'm pretty sure that Exotic is going to let Cali Rob through as well. Obviously, Exotic's going to want to hold up Holmesy. In this case, actually, I don't think Exotic's going to make it easy for Holmesy. I think he's going to make it as hard as he possibly can, and he's going to bring Cali Rob back into this. Corbyn's currently in P5. He's made his pit stop. He made it under the first safety car. So we'll see how deep he can go into the race. He is only just ahead of this battle though. Holmesy can smell the back of Corbyn's exhaust gases. And he's going to look to want to get on top of Corbyn's as quickly as he possibly can. Because as long as Corbyn's is ahead of Holmesy, Holmesy will not win the championship. It'll be Cali Rob's championship at this moment in time. If it stayed as is, it'll be Cali Rob's championship. Now, Exotic is going to have to defend like a lion, as Fernando Alonso would say, as he has Holmesy going very wide there, taking a slightly different line. He's going to try and get this switch back. It looks like he got the speed advantage. Look at that move from Holmesy. That was brilliant off the banking. And he's going to go up the inside of Exotic into turn one. He's got that move done pretty nicely. That was a very good move there. I said about taking different lines during qualifying. He did, and it worked out well for him. You saw he just jerked off. Oh my God, don't say that. Christ almighty. He just pulled off to the left-hand side of the banking and then cut in pretty deep. Is Red Dog here going to let Holmesy through for the championship? He's probably on the team radio at the minute. Let Holmesy through for the championship, as that famous radio call from Ferrari came through earlier. Cali Rob is ahead of Exotic. Exotic let Cali Rob go, so Cali Rob is now right on the back of Holmesy. Is Red Dog going to let Holmesy through and try and make life hard for Cali Rob? Holmesy, Red Dog is clipping. You can see his red dot there. Red Dog isn't making it easy for Holmesy, I'm sure. Mike Crack. It's such a name that's so funny, isn't it? Mike Crack. He is the team principal, and we've lost Henry. Henry's DNF from the session around the final corner. Is this going to be a safety? Yes, it's a safety car. It is a safety car. Corbyn's comes into the pits again. Holmesy is so we had our third safety car now in 13 laps. That final corner, I said Coke Can was going to DNF round there, but it appears that everyone else is. Coke Can goes at turn 2. Mark of Kenya and Henry both go on the final banked corner. Cornet went through the tight, twisty, right-handed fast section alongside Lasser Haverhouse. So Corbyn's comes in and puts fresh medium tyres on. What tyres did he start on? Let me have a quick look. Corbyn started on the soft. Okay, so he started soft, so he has done his pit stop. If he can make these mediums last for 23 laps, maybe 22 20, 21 laps, he will make it to the end of the race, and he won't have to pit again. He comes past the safety car, so he hasn't been lapped, which is good news for him. Delta came in the pits and put on fresh mediums, and B16 is definitely going to the end on those hard tyres. He'll be able to make those last to the end of the race. So Willands stayed out. Is he going to stay out now? He's got to pit. He has to pit. Here he comes. Willands comes into the pit lane. Toss stays out. Possibly should have come into the pits. I don't know. I think he's probably going to go medium soft. So Will is going on to... what tyre is he going? Medium tyre. So 12 laps on the softs. And then he's going to try and push these mediums to do 23 laps. Obviously under safety car running, you're not going to take as much life out of those tyres as you would normally. So these probably will end up doing about 21 racing laps once everyone catches back up. Obviously the field spread isn't massive at the minute because of the sheer amount of safety cars we've had so far. Yodi comes into the pits. He's got the fresh softs on. Now what is the pit stop strategies for everybody right now? How many have everyone done? So we have 2 stoppers for Bacon, Woot, Yerdy, Corbins, Delta, Dace and B16. Drivers who haven't pitted yet are Toss and Red Dog, currently in P1, P2 respectively. Honesy has stopped once, he is in P3. Kelly Robb has done 1 stop, so is Exotic, so is Lasser, so is Will. He's only just come into the pits and he comes out in P9, so it's a good position for him to come out in P9 with medium tyres on, which should on paper last to the end. However, with the sheer amount of safety cars we've had so far, I'm assuming we're going to have a few more. Thankfully a safety car is in this lap already. We're going to go racing, boys and girls, and they and them. We're going to go racing very soon. It's the safety cars aren't staying out, thankfully, like I say, because they're going in, they're happening quite regularly at the minute. It's right on board with Honesy. The field spread isn't massive, so when the safety car, when all the drivers back up, the safety car's there. So Toss is the safety car leader. He's got Red Dog just ahead of him. Honesy's going to look to try and get past Red Dog, but Red Dog did not make it easy for Honesy to get past and try and win this championship. As we ride on board with Honesy down into turn 1, is he going to look to make a move up the inside of Red Dog? He doesn't. Red Dog drifts wide. I think that is Red Dog opening the door and leaving it open for Honesy. Now Red Dog has to keep Calibra behind. Red Dog's had a bit of a scrappy second half to the season, picked up a few penalty points from the incidents he has picked up on. So hopefully he'll be able to keep it clean. I'm sure he will. He is a very clean driver, just made a few mistakes, but a bit off form. And he's just got to try and keep Cali Rob. Honesy's probably loving this right now. He held Honesy up for a little bit longer than probably Honesy would have liked to have been. And he's got to hold Cali Rob up now for as long as he possibly can. He is obviously on 14-lap-old mediums. Red Dog is getting up quite a bit of oversteer as he comes out of those tricky final 2 traction corners, especially on older tyres. So Exotic and Cali are going to have to try and work together now, try and pull Ferrari as high up the standings as they possibly can. Red Dog is working now for Honesy. And he is holding him up. We're not going to have... It looks like it's getting very dark. Could we see some rain as Honesy makes a move for the overtake into turn 1? Toss. Is he going to let him by? Is he going to give it up easily? I think Toss is going to try and hang it up the inside. I think we're going to have some rain in a minute. Delta, if you are there, could you confirm the weather forecast for me? Because it's getting very grey and murky. What did it say? Toss keeps P1. That's a good little battle there with Honesy, as Delta moves himself up into P10 as he gets past B16. B16 possibly had a bit of an issue there, as he has dropped quite a bit far back. Now Mr. Woot is, we're right on board with Mr. Woot through these, through the triple, quadruple right-handers. And Mr. Wu is having trouble. I think this setup isn't working for him, Jack. I think your man is struggling today. He's got issues. He's going very slowly. Has he got front wing damage? It doesn't look like he has. I think he's just... I'm not sure what's going on, but Dace is now back into P14 after qualifying so well. dropped so far down. He needs to try and come back through the field. Cali Rob gets past Red Dog. Red Dog will not have DRS to fight back with, and he's used pretty much all of his ERS. DRS is enabled now, so at the next detection point it will then be activated. But Cali Rob is now ahead of Red Dog, and Toss and Holmesy are going at it into turns 1 and turn 2. Toss has got absolutely nothing to lose here, and Holmesy has got it all to lose. Mr. Woot picks up a 5-second speeding penalty in the pit lane. Is he going to retire the car? I'm not sure. He's not usually that type of driver. Toss is absolutely sending it here, but he's not going to be he's not going to be able to keep P1, and Holmesy takes that back. Holmesy is now the leader of the race, the leader of the championship. In P3, Corbyn's all the way down in P9. He's not been able to make moves through the field. He's got a bit of a train of cars up ahead of him, led by Red Dog with Exotic, Lasser, Bacon, Will, and Corbyn's all in this battle. Delta is just sniffing around as well, trying to pick up any crumbs he can find. No one's got any penalties just yet, apart from Mr. Woot, who's got a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. But nobody has any corner cutting or corner exceeding track limits warnings. So that's good news. Now, Lasser is, hang on a minute, Toss is only a tenth and a bit behind Holmesy, but he didn't make the move into turn 1, so he wasn't close enough to try and get that done and dusted. He will probably try again. He brakes very late into the hairpin. Is it a hairpin? Yes, it does turn back on yourself. We've got a car spun in P sector 1, have we? We're going very slowly. Yeah, the foregone conclusion, Jack, of the pressure for Mr. Woot winning the race definitely got to him. He's currently 13 seconds behind Dace, who is currently 15 seconds behind as well. So unfortunately for Mr. Woot, he needs another safety car. We've had 3 already. I don't think we're going to be getting, well, I say don't think we're going to be getting, probably get one in the next lap now. Yerdy gets past Impossible Bacon, so Yerdy, it was Impossible Bacon who must have had an incident, because he was in that little train of cars that was ahead. Corbyn shifts himself up to P8. I'm not sure, Jack, have you seen The Office, the British Office that is, because that was David Brent's band, wasn't it? Foregone conclusion. Anyway, Lasser, that's where I got it from anyway, is looking to make a move. Exotic gets it. It's going to be a double overtake, is it? Lasser's going up the inside of Exotic, and he has caused an incident between Red Dog and Exotic. Lasser got understeered into Exotic, and that then Exotic then got pushed into Red Dog and sent Red Dog around, and that is Delta Lima going round in a circle in the exit of turn 1, 2, 3 or 4. Never count how many. My maths isn't very good. So Red Dog, unfortunately for him, is going, and we've got Cali Rob. Is that Cali Rob? That's Cali Rob around. Wow, this has huge implications for the championship. Cali Rob is around. His hard tyre is obviously not working well for him. He is now down into P8. I saw a yellow flag, and we've got a virtual safety car, so the race is now neutralised. It's not a full course safety car. We'll get green flag racing very shortly. That has huge ramifications for the title, as Holmesy currently leading the race and now leading the championship outright from Cali Rob. Has Cali Rob just bottled the championship? Who knows, but Corbyn's in a decent position in P6. He does need to pick the pace up, and he does need to get ahead of these cars that are just ahead of him. Lasser had an... Obviously, we might see as Cali Rob comes into the pits. We are green flag racing. This is going to cost Cali. We're back to green flag. This is absolutely terrible for Cali Rob. 12-lap-old hard tyres. He's got no front wing either. If the VSC stayed out for that little bit longer, he would have been all right, but it's not. He's got to try and catch back up. He's gone for the medium tyres. He should see him through to the end of the race. We've got 16 laps left. Dace is up into P10 now. He's got some points on the board. Will he be able to keep them and maybe even get some more? Now, Cool Beans is got to catch up with Will. There's a bit of a train going on here with Exotic currently in the podium position in P3. Lasser, Will and Cool Beans. Now, let me just do some quick maths. So if Holmesy wins the race, he goes on to... He goes on to 160 points. Yeah, 160 points for Honesy. Corbins, if he finishes in P6, he will be 25, 18, 15, 12, 10. He'll be on 151 points. That's not going to be enough for Corbins. Corbins has to get a minimum of 19 points if Honesy wins the race. So Corbins has to finish ahead of Honesy basically today. If Honesy, yeah, so he's got to fight. He's got to get through this battle. That's my really bad maths. I apologise if it was completely wrong. Postcard maths. So, I mean, Honesy is starting to pull away now from Toss. Toss is on 20 lap hold for medium tyres. Possibly could have pitted under that VSC earlier, but decided against it. I think the softs would have probably lasted him to the end of the race. At that point, maybe, just about. He would have been struggling towards the end. Obviously he wants to pit a little bit later on, so he's got a 2.5 second gap to the race leader in Honesy. I'm pretty sure Honesy's mediums might pit at the end for another set of soft tyres, but he is very good on his tyres, is Honesy, so I think Corbins will definitely make it to the end of the race at this moment in time, as Lasser again with Exotic. Lasser is desperate to get past Exotic, and he's trying all he possibly can to try and get past. But it's not going to be enough for him on that occasion. Let's have a quick dip down into the back. His Impossible Bacon and Mr. Woot, the two Red Bull drivers, along with Red Dog, who's just up ahead of them in P12, 13 and 14 respectively. Now is Bacon, he's not close enough to have the DRS on Mr. Woot. He is 9/10 now. The slipstream has got him about 2/10 down there. The DRS would have probably got him another 6 or 7, so he would have been on the back of him had he had DRS, but he didn't. Mr. Woot is trying to close in on Red Dog. Cali Rob now trying to fight back through the field. Currently in P11 on fresh medium tyres, so these will see him to the end of the race. So he won't have to pit again, but he's going to have to... Look at that gap. Honesy's just crossing the finish line now, and Cali isn't even out of the second sector. Delta has recovered from his spin on the exit of the first banking in the first sector. Lasser gets past Exotic, does he? Yes, he does. He's cleanly passed now into turn 1. Lasser is in the podium positions. Will is going to look to try and capitalise, and Corbins has to get a move done soon. I mean, we know what can happen in a championship finale race. Nothing is ever set in stone until they cross the line of the checkered flag. If we have a safety car in the last couple of laps, that will change the whole complexion of the game. We do have a penalty. Who's the penalty? Cali Rob has got a 5-second penalty. Was that for speeding in the pit lane? I think it possibly was. So that's huge for Cali Robbie. If he does it, he won't have to pit again, so he won't have to serve it. But he will get it added onto his time at the end of the race. So if he is, you know, that could be a huge penalty come the end of the race if he does manage to get back in towards the podium positions and the front running. Now Corbins is still trying to get past Will, but he's not being able to. Exotic's doing a good job to try and hold up Cali Rob's championship contender. And Honesy's looking to win his 3rd SFR championship. He's got 2 in the bag already out of 4 seasons actually. Cornet and Funf Kugelmeis won the other 2 respectively, so Honesy is the out and out SFR GOAT. He's looking to add a 3rd title to his collection. Cali Rob currently setting fastest laps after fastest laps, trying to come back through the field. And Bacon and Red Dog. Bacon gets past Red Dog into the turn 1 as we have Dace coming out of the pits just ahead of these drivers, and Mr. Woot goes through into P11. So Mr. Woot and Cali Rob both have 5 seconds speeding in the pit lane penalties to serve probably at the end of the race, as Mr. Woot's tyres are Only 6 laps though, so they will last him to the end. Yes, so if Holmesy wins the race, I think he has the championship wrapped up, just because Cool Beans is only 7 points ahead, and Holmesy has obviously at least a 7-point gap over P2. So that would pretty much would guarantee Holmesy to win. But as you said, if none of them win the race, then it is going to come down to how many points difference. Obviously, from P1 to P2 is a huge, but the rest of the positions are all pretty close. So we shall see what happens. I admit, yeah, some rain would have been interesting. It looked like it was on the cards. It looked like it was about to come down. But the blue skies have come back out now and the grey clouds have gone away. So we only had a couple of threatening laps of rain for a few laps, and then it went back. So we're back to sunny racing conditions. Haven't had much rain this season, actually, to be fair. As Cool Beans is still stuck behind Will and Exotic. And I think Lasser is being pulled into this battle again. I don't think Lasser's getting away from it all. So Kelly Robb at the minute has the fastest lap of the race with a 1:12.276, 4/10 quicker than what Holmesy's managed, and a full second and a bit clearer than what Cool Beans has managed. So this obviously isn't Cool Beans' track. He's had a pretty poor last third to the season, actually, as Cool Beans. He hasn't been as consistent. He's been involved in a few incidents. We have Red Dog spinning round, I think. Yes, it was Red Dog sets out the yellow flag, but no safety car, no virtual safety car. So no controversy just there. 11 laps remaining. Holmesy is coming up. As you can see, he's a couple of corners behind Red Dog, so there's possibly going to be a lapped car in the field as Dace goes 2 seconds quicker with the fastest lap of the race and goes a 1:12.026. The only driver not to pit yet is Toss the Caber. He's going to have to pit soon. He's got 7 seconds to Lasser. I think he'd probably lose. It's normally about 20 seconds per pit stop, so he will come out probably around about P9, P8. If and when he does pits, he's got 4.5 seconds behind Holmesy now. Holmesy's starting to pull away. I think there probably will be at least another pit stop from Holmesy. He's currently on 19 lap mediums, which is probably around about the limit to these tyres. And he's still got another 10 laps to go, so I don't think you can possibly do 30 laps on them. You don't know. I don't know how he's driving. It appears he's not driving the absolute rubber off them just yet. As Delta is past Yerdy. He's in the pits, that's why. So I was going to say, I didn't see another car. I thought Delta might have yeeted him off the track. But Delta moves himself up into P8. He's done 13 laps on these medium tyres. Let's see if we can get a chat with Delta, actually, to see what these medium tyres are doing after 13 laps. Delta, if you are there, hit us up and let us know how these medium tyres are feeling for you, so we can get an idea if Holmesy's going to be able to make it to the end of the race. Yerdy's put on a fresh set of soft tyres. So he'll be set to the end of the race now with 9 laps remaining. Will is ahead of Exotic. Exotic is now down into P5 on 24 lap-old hard tyres. So they're doing pretty well as Cool Beans is looking to make a move. He goes up the inside and gets that move done. He does a bit of wheel banging with Exotic. Gets past and Cool Beans is now up into P5. He's got Will Ans just up ahead of him and Lasser to try and go through as well. He obviously will get a position ahead as well when Toss pits. So he is in a net P4 at the minute. But that's still not going to be enough to see him win the championship at this moment in time. I think I've just heard the microphone and the team radio noise from Delta Lima. Delta Lima, are you there?
Hello.
Hello, as I ride on board with you as you chat. With Callie Rogers
Don't do
behind
that.
you. Right, how are these medium tyres feeling?
They feel fine.
Yeah, what's the percentage rate on them after 14 laps?
30%.
30%, so add another 6 laps into that. Probably about 50% for Holmesy at the minute, so they might be alright for another 9 laps.
Yeah,
Do
all
you
he's got to
reckon
do is
they'd
keep everyone behind.
Do Do you reckon they'd
If he-
last 30 laps, the mediums?
I mean, it's a push,
It is going to be a push.
but
Kelly Robb is
he's
pretty
good at
close to you
keeping
now.
his tyres. So he's good at keeping his tyres
He
low,
is.
though.
He is. As Toss the Caver comes into the pit lane, but let's ride on board with Delta
Finally.
still. Kelly Robb.
Alright, Kelly Robb's about to rape me.
Oh, we are live on Channel 4. Please do not swear. Look at that.
Says the
switchback
man
move
who
from
said
Kelly
jerk
Robb.
off. No, Kelly Robb, don't! At least he's surprised.
As Kelly Robb gets past Delta, that was a great camera angle of Kelly Robb trying to do the switchback through the banking move. But it's a good overtake on stream and live, talking to the driver there with your very colourful helmet.
Yeah. I was a bit gutted I spun out of the first little bowl section.
Yeah, I saw that. We were on board with you. Right, let's jump back off board. Coolbeans is up into P3. Now, this just got interesting. Is Will going to try and fight it? He's not. Will backs off very respectfully from Coolbeans. I think some drivers don't necessarily want to get themselves involved in a championship battle that they're not involved in themselves. So Coolbeans is now into P3. He will last to the end of the race with these tyres. He's got Lasser up ahead of him on 21 lap old mediums. 22 lap old as Will is fighting back actually into turn 1. Absolutely sends it past. The DRS is working a dream for Will Ans there. Gets past nice and easy. And Coolbeans drops down to P4. So Coolbeans has got 15 seconds to try and catch up with Holmesy. He is absolutely storming this race so far. We've got 7 laps remaining. As Delta said, these tyres should just about last until the end of the race. And yeah, I don't know if Holmesy's going to have to pit again. He may well do, as he did say that, you know, he was personally hoping for a Coolbeans title. I'm not sure any title contenders have ever said that before when they're going for a title. However, Holmesy may feel that he has too many and he might want to give the title to somebody else. But at this moment in time, Holmesy is leading the race by quite some distance and has the title in the bag. But as we know, anything, absolutely anything can happen in Formula 1, especially when we get towards the end of a race and the championship. So Exotic now has DRS, but so does Coolbeans. But it appears that Coolbeans is catching him a little bit. I think Coolbeans is running a slightly draggier car, as his braking there for Coolbeans wasn't brilliant. Exotic is going to try up the inside. Coolbeans does give him space. It's good driving between those two. And again, as much as Exotic wants to get past Coolbeans, I don't think he wants to get himself involved in a race-ending and championship-ending position. Now, where is Kelly Robb in all of this action? He is 4 seconds. Toss the Caber in P6 is currently 4 seconds behind Exotic. Coolbeans hasn't been able to get back up close to Will to try and make an overtake. He is only 7/10 behind with some slipstreaming going on down here. If he can try and keep it neat and tidy through this chicane section before we head to the banking on the final corner, he might have a chance for an overtake around into turn 1 with the use of DRS. Yellow flag in sector 2. It's a Red Bull. It's Impossible Bacon. He is off on the fast right-hander. I think Coolbeans just lost a bit more time around the banking. Will's getting his banking section perfect right now, and Coolbeans does close back up, but it's too late to make any kind of move. Right, so where is Bacon? He is trying to get his car restarted. He's currently in P13. Red Dog's coming up fast behind him now. Mr. Woot is coming up towards the end of the lap. Dace has been a little bit anonymous today in his Alfa Romeo. He had a good qualifying, but he's now down in P11. I think he was involved in possibly an incident. Yerdy in the final points paying position in P10 with Delta in P9. Got Kelly Robb in P8. He is out of the championship battle at the minute, at this moment in time. B16 and P7. He's going to score some good points for Williams today if he can keep that position. Toss on fresh softs is going to attempt to try and get as far up the grid as he possibly can on his tyre strategy. Yellow flag in sector 3. I think it's Bacon. I think he is retiring in there. It's Mr. Woot in the pit lane. and Bacon is coming in the pits as well. Bacon's got a 5-second speeding penalty. I think he'll probably be going right. Corbins is a lot closer this time, yet Bacon has retired in the pit lane, so no crashing. Corbins is much closer this time. He's closing in, Oh, and Will made a very, very late move there to block off. He did seem to cut across, so I think that is a little bit naughty there from Will, personally. Corbins had to get out of that. He was going to overtake him, or go at least put himself alongside into turn 1, so Corbins is probably raging in his helmet right now, knowing he probably had at least a chance to try and make a move into turn 1. But Will did seem to move across the track very late. That was on lap 33. So I want this manipulated. It's been manipulated, man. Mr. Woot's crashed. He's out. Mr. Woot is out. And there's a that wasn't Honesy, was it? No, that was Red Dog spinning out. So we've lost Mr. Woot, have we? No, that was Impossible Bacon's car. I'm sorry, Jack, I might have scared you there. Who's that, though? That's a Mercedes. That's Corbins around. And that's huge. Exotic's gone through. Toss the Caber's gone through. And, yeah, I'm not sure what happened there as I came off to see what was happening with the Red Bulls. Corbins is now down in P6. Has he got any damage? I don't think he has. We've only got 3 laps remaining. Who's that coming in the pit lane? That is Exotic, is it? Exotic pits. Kelly Rob moves himself up into P7. He gets ahead of B16 into turn 1. Right, Corbins is now in P5, but he has lost. He's 6 seconds behind Toss the Caber, and he's got Red Dog just ahead of him to try and lap. Who's this in the pits? Exotic. Anyone else? Dace moves himself up into P10. Delta's still in P3. He's only 3/10 behind Yerdy. Are we going to see a move here? Let's watch Delta here overtake Yerdy, shall we? Gaps at the front. Honesy is leading the race by 16.5 seconds to his fellow countryman Lasser. Will in P3. Toss in P4. Corbins in P5. See after the race what the incident was. But Will, Exotic and Corbins are all pretty close together. I am assuming that one of them may have had a coming together in that tight chicane section before the banking section at the last corner. Delta's lost some time to Yerdy now. He was only 3/10 behind, but he's now 9/10, so he's lost 6/10 in the second sector. But it is hard to follow through there. Is he going to be able to get some durs down the straight? He's lost another 4/10 actually, so I don't think he's too far back to try and get anything. Now Toss is very close to the back of Will. Wonder if he can look at that traction difference between these two drivers. They're wheel to wheel going up to the. Oh, I said before, these two drivers have history, just like Stewart and Mark of Kenya. Got a whole lot of history in both leagues. Comments come through. Just wait for it to load up, and I'll let you know what's going on. So far, we've lost Exotic. He's retired. We've lost Bacon. We've lost Henry. We've lost Mark of Kenya, Cornet, and Coke Can. 12 drivers are remaining. Toss is only 3/10 behind now. He lost about a 10th, but the exits, he's getting the traction difference between the old 20-lap-old mediums and the Will. Oh, they're fighting hard as Toss goes up the inside, and Toss gets ahead of Will into turn 1 and steals the podium off him on the last lap. Now Honesy is on the last lap. He comes around in. He's got. Look at the gaps he's got. He's got no one ahead of him, nobody behind him. We're on the final lap of the season, and he is leading, and he has absolutely bossed this race from start to finish and qualifying. Definitely a track he loves. I'll jump back on board with Honesy in a minute as he is going across the line and become Season 5 champion. Comes round the final couple of corners. No other gaps are close there. I think Delta is pretty close to Dace. Dace has got past Delta actually, as Honesy comes across the start to finish, comes around the final corner, and he doesn't even let off the power. There he goes. He wants to make sure he wins that. He doesn't want to crash out in DNF at the last minute. But Honesy is the SFR champion. Lasser's going to come round the final corner in P2. And Toss has stolen that podium on the last lap with that strategy call that he called. He comes across in P3, Will in P4, and Coolbeans, very unfortunately, he has pushed this championship all season, and he comes across the line in P5. Cali Rob in P6, loses out on the championship as well. He gets a 5-second penalty for speeding in the pit lane. P16 just about stays behind 2100. Yerdy comes across the line in P8 to get 4 points for himself, and Dace comes across to get 2 points for him, and Delta gets points on the final race of the season in P10. Well, Honesy absolutely bossed that race from start to finish, but absolutely anything could have happened. Yerdy gets the Codemasters driver of the day. I will have a quick look and just see what the movers and shakers were. I was pretty impressed with Honesy's drive. Absolutely took the pressure that was put on him and absolutely nailed it all race long, so I'll probably give it to him. You know, championship was on the line, started the day off in 3rd position and finished it in 1st. Yes, Kelly Robb is going to go from 1st to 3rd, I believe. It's from 3rd to 1st. So Honesy wins the championship. I will get some if I can do some quick maths in a minute. But there we go. Honesy wins the race, wins the championship. Lasser comes in P2, and Toss the Caber completes a Dutch podium by being Scottish on the 3rd step. Will in P4, Coolbeans unfortunately in P5, Cali Rob in P6. B16 in P7, Yerdy in P8, Dace in P9, and Delta with the final points in P10. Good drives from Yerdy starting P15, good drives from B16 starting P13, Coolbean started P10, Toss started P9, so that strategy really cool, really worked for him. He pitted so late into the race, but made it count and made it work for himself. As let's just see what the final standings are. Exotic officially classified, but he did retire. Fastest lap of the race went to Toss the Caber on his soft tyres at the end of the race with a 1:11.467. Well, there we go. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for watching all season long. I'm not sure when I get to speak to you next, but when I do, enjoy the summer break, and SFR will be back for season 6 in a few weeks' time. Thank you, and that's it. Over and out.